okay, yeah, that's why we're doing this. And this is the difference we're making. It's not just the one person getting it, it's their whole family gets to experience it. And so you see that multiplier figure, and we talk about it at the beginning of, yes, we're going to make 400, but it's more than that. It's the ripple effect. And now it's not just us too. We have neighboring schools in our area. People hear community service sometimes, and I think it just has a bad rap because we've used it in lots of different ways in our society. They think of it, yes, it's a positive, but for some people it is a negative. It's a punishment, or if you're receiving it, sometimes you're just not in the place where receiving it is a happy thing. And I try to say that when I'm teaching. Same thing with like, okay, we're doing this during the holiday time. Tons of organizations do things during the holiday time. How else can we use this later in the year to do similarly? Because that's when people really need it, when the holidays are over, right?
Hey friend, welcome to the Growing Kindness podcast. I'm your host, Deanna Kitchen, founder of the Growing Kindness movement. This is a place where we grow together, learning to root our lives in kindness, connection, and community. If you've ever wished the world felt a little softer, a little more neighborly, or if you're craving stories that remind you that goodness still grows, you're in the right place. Together with our guests, we'll share stories of generosity and community, proof that even the smallest acts of kindness, from growing and giving cut flowers to everyday acts of care, can change lives and connect us in powerful ways. I'm so glad you're here. Let's get started. Just because the flowers have stopped blooming doesn't mean that kindness needs to stop growing. We'd love for you to join us in this year's Holiday Cheer Challenge. It's an opportunity to embrace the joy of getting outside, getting creative, and making a beautiful impact in your community. When you sign up for the Holiday Cheer Challenge, it's free. You'll get everything you need to walk you through every step of gathering, designing, and giving evergreen arrangements as acts of kindness in your community this holiday season. Not sure what to use? No problem. We've included a list of the best local ingredients for you to forage and find. Need help with floral design? No problem. We've got you covered with a tutorial video and an invitation to join us for a free live floral design workshop. We've also included bouquet tags to make giving easy, tips for giving in your community, and my favorite part, tips for turning this into a celebration. Whether you gather your best girlfriends, the neighborhood kids during winter break, your coworkers, or just spend a quiet evening creating with the one you love, the joy and beauty are only multiplied when they're shared. So sign up today at www.growingkindnessproject.com/challenges, or you can link in the show notes below. Whether you make one arrangement or 100, we're here to help you keep growing and giving kindness this winter. I'm so glad you're joining us again today. I am so excited to get to introduce you to today's guest. She is a flower farmer, FFA teacher, and has the biggest heart, and you will just be so inspired by the way that she is growing kindness, not only in her community, but in her students' lives. Amy, thank you so much for being here with us today. Do you want to start with sharing a little about you and your corner of the world that you call home? And maybe we could also talk a little bit about where you teach and a little bit about your FFA students.
Yeah, they're all kind of intertwined, and we're actually in a neighboring situation, right? So I'm in the Skagit Valley as well. I'm here in Mount Vernon, Washington. If you don't know anything about the Pacific Northwest, it's kind of dahlia and tulip heaven. And so I got used to being around flowers from the time that I was a kid. I actually went to Mount Vernon High School as a student, and now I am back teaching at my alma mater, which is kind of a unique experience, but I definitely love it. I've been teaching here now for the last 14 years, 17 total in my teaching career. All of that teaching agriculture science, so horticulture, floral design, animal science, things like that, as well as co-advising our FFA program. So I am excited to continue working with the Growing Kindness Project.
Yes, absolutely. Well, we're so thrilled to get to hear more about your journey and kind of how you're here now, even with us on the podcast as an FFA teacher and high school teacher. And you teach grades 9 through 12, correct?
9 through 12. Yep. Mixed. All my classes are elective, so anybody, any grade level can take them.
I love it. I'd love to talk specifically today about how you first got connected with the Growing Kindness movement. So you want to reflect back on that? I think we may have to dig back a few chapters, right?
I actually was digging back through my Instagram page to find a year, because I knew it was around 2020 with the COVID shutdown, but I couldn't remember exactly. I found my very first inquiry post about the Growing Kindness Project back then was about 2019. So I bought my house in 18, started growing flowers and gardening kind of as like a hobby for myself, but also as a way to get out of the dumps post-divorce. I had been around gardens before. I'd gardened with my mom growing up as a kid, but I never really like took to it, loved to do it. And so I started to grow cut flowers. I threw a couple of bags of dahlia tubers I bought from Costco into a garden bed that the house came with. Didn't really know what I was doing, but I was searching like Instagrams of farm pages. I got on Floret, I got on your farm page, a couple other local gals, and just was trying to kind of mimic what they were doing. Like if they're in my area and they can do this, I can do this. I'll figure it out. Most of that really sparked from teaching floral design. I just wanted to get more connected to what I was teaching. Had no idea how good or bad it was going to go, what I could really do, because I'd never been really that big into it. And I just fell in love with it. That first growing season, I swear, was my best one, just like beginner's luck. I've never been that good at that many things ever before in my life. And so the next year I was like, okay, I'm going to do this again and grow a little bit more. And then that led to so much excess that I wanted to find a way to get rid of it in a nice way. And that's how I found Growing Kindness Project. So I started doing little arrangements in mason jars, offered them to my coworkers, places I would go in town. I'd set up this like little portable camping table I had out my garage door, kind of on the side of the road every now and again. And my neighbors walked the neighborhood, started to realize what was going on. The COVID shutdown is really what took off and started to make it more like funneled as an actual thing. And that's where I got connected with the holiday cheer campaign. So when all of that went down, we were in our classrooms, but with no kids. And I was trying to find ways to still teach floral design and all the other hands-on things virtually, which was like mind-boggling. Like every teacher had a rough time. Those of us in like hands-on electives classes like auto shop, wood shop, culinary, like it was a total game changer of like, how do we do this? Like, because all of that stuff was how we connected with kids and got them interested in our subject. And now it's like, stay away. We can't touch. We can't see. We can't meet. How do I do that? And so we had such a great group of staff members here on our campus that stuck around and offered to help out with all kinds of things, from meal pickups to a library checkout system. And so I just asked one day, hey, like if I pre-packaged like little take-home kits of floral arrangements, could we offer that during the meal pickup time so kids could come, and if they had transportation and could find a way, could we do that? And they said yes. So I started packaging things like that. I put a post in like my Google Classrooms like, hey, if you can't make it, can I bring it to you? And we would start to do it. I just did it twice a month at that point, just to get something off the get-go. And it was timed right at holiday break, almost this time last year, about Thanksgiving time. And so I really wanted to find a way that anybody could make something in the holiday time. And you were offering your free resources at that time, a nice printable and all that. So I stole it and I used it in my classroom.
You didn't steal it. You put it to good work.
I put it to good work. And I thought, it's a good one that even if they couldn't make it in, even if I couldn't get to them, because at that first year, there were kids all over the country, even at that point, just hunkering down with their families wherever they could. Anybody could potentially find the resources in their neighborhood, wherever they were at, to forage an arrangement together in whatever container. And so I was really just trying to teach the basics at that point. Like, let's just get savvy with our materials. Let's make something together creative. And it seriously was probably one of the best like Zoom classes I had, where kids would actually turn on their cameras and actually ask the questions and, hey, does this look okay? And they were showing it. The whole screen lit up. It was awesome, because it wasn't like that for the last 2 months of teaching during COVID time. And ever since then, I've just wanted to continue, and it's grown into what it is today.
I absolutely love, I probably will end up saying this in every podcast, but this is just so core to our mission, is that start where you are, use what you have, and just saying, how can I empower these kids and get really creative with the resources that you had to offer them and the limitations that you had, surrounding that, to just say, hey, I'm going to find a way to help these kids get to enter into the joy of making something beautiful and then sharing it in their community, which is just so incredible. So I want to take a minute and just give a little bit of context when we're talking about Holiday Cheer, the Holiday Cheer Challenge. Holiday Cheer campaign is what we called it for a while. what that started with was this idea that we could keep giving even when the flowers were not blooming. And it actually was started with this little started smaller giving campaign from our family's farm. And I realized when I say smaller, I'm like, we did 200 bouquets the first year, but it was what we had. We had this massive amount of greens that I had left over from another project I had done. And we figured that we could take them to where some cheer and kindness was most needed in our community. And to us, that was a food bank. And so what that became was this local campaign that grew and grew over time, going from 200 bouquets to, at the height of COVID, we delivered 700 bouquets to our local food bank to be able to gift families who are coming in need for food with a little bit of beauty and the like brightness and cheer of the holiday season as well. And then what happened really quickly was what we saw was there's this opportunity to invite more people in and help them do the same thing, just like you did with your students. So we created the resource kit to be able to share with anybody at any time. And I love that you took it into your classroom. And I hope there are teachers listening today who feel empowered to do the same. So Amy, at this point, what year are you in doing the Holiday Cheer Challenge with your students?
We're technically in year 5. We're in year 4 of what it looks like today, like together in person, all of that. That first year was that COVID virtual year. So yeah, we're going on 5.
Absolutely incredible. So can you break down for us a little bit of your processes and how this looks in the classroom setting? How are you getting kids to come alongside and be excited about this giving opportunity? How are you managing the logistics? This year, I think your goal was to share 300 arrangements with
We're trying for 4.
Amazing.
We're going to see how we get there.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So 400 arrangements in your local community. Yeah. These are going to be going to individuals who are really either isolated or just in need of a little bit of extra cheer, right? So this year, your students will be making and giving to
the local food bank, Friendship House, which is kind of a family shelter. There's also a women's shelter division of that we hit. And then we're doing an elderly care facility in our neighborhood as well. And we're doing it with them. So we're going to them and actually arranging with them as an FFA social activity too. That's new this year. I'm so excited.
My heart just had a little leap because there is nothing more beautiful than actually getting to make those connections in person. I really cannot wait. I cannot wait to hear what your students' experience is in that. That is going to be something they take away and hold on to forever. So help us know, how do you make this work in your classroom at this level? If we have a classroom teacher listening in right now, or maybe someone who is a Girl Scout leader or has another group of kids that are just ready to be activated and get involved in giving back.
I think any group that does community service, leadership type things already, this is totally applicable to you. I obviously do a little bit more because I teach floral and teach greenhouse plants, landscaping, things like that. It does not need to be as deep or as complicated as I make it. We literally just do what you do. We take your cheer challenge kit and I use it in the classroom almost like a lesson plan. And so about a month ago, I broached the subject with my students saying, hey, we're going to get involved in this community service project called the Growing Kindness Project. We do it every year now, so it's kind of a tradition. But the very first year, I think I just really keyed in on it's a volunteer opportunity. It's a way to give back to our community. You guys all know how good that feels. You've done something like that in your life, no matter how big or small. And so we're going to make this a class assignment and let's see what we can do with it, right? We make arrangements in class for ourselves and to give to our family members. We're going to do the same thing around the holiday time to give to somebody in need in our own community. So for about the last 3 weeks to 4, we've been collecting cans. So these are just legit soup cans, bean cans, whatever you've got from the kitchen. I just want them with no holes so I can use them as a vase. We take the label off if the kid didn't do it already. We're going to clean it up a little bit. I just threw this together with a kid today so I can show it to you.
I love that. And if to clarify, it's just exactly what you would throw in the recycle can after you made a can of soup.
Yeah.
And
that's exactly what I say. Just bring in your recycling. We're going to recycle it.
And you've just taken it and embellished it with wrapping a ribbon and you just hot glue the ribbons on, I'm assuming?
Yeah, literally, Costco for the ribbon, they have it super early. I buy it I think back to school time whenever I see it because you get the first pick. Big old rolls for $10, $12. It'll last so much. So I literally just wrap it in either hot glue, or we use like those scrapbook kind of photo double-sided stickers just to make
Oh,
it
yeah,
quick.
smart.
That way it's just dressed up a little bit. Could you get away with it nice, clean, and simple? Yeah. But that's all we do to it as our vase. Then the next part comes with a little bit of help from you, but anybody can do this, just trying to resource greenery, branches, material. I know other schools that have been making like Christmas wreaths for years, and they just take a Saturday and venture out to neighboring farms. Some people go and buy the permit that you can do the national parks with. Anybody that's pruning the greenery. I get offered holly from so many coworkers nowadays, or even the curly willow twigs or blueberry branches, those kinds of things. So we try to source all of that to some sort of a delivery day. And then now that we've been doing it for so long, we actually have some alumni and some coworkers, Booster Club members that are like, hey, do you need some money for the project just to make it a little bit more fun? And so we buy wholesale flowers, carnations, simple little things just to embellish it a little bit more and bring the floral design aspect to it. But it definitely doesn't need it. We've put pine cones in them before. We've taken little ornaments that I'll buy like the day after Christmas from Target when they're super cheap and throw them in there too as embellishment. I've had people bring those picks that are in bouquets. We'll reuse those, whatever you can find, honestly. And we just fill them up, just like little posy arrangements, so we can cram them into a crate and get them to the site. So there's kids that are doing the collection of the cans and even the promo for it now. So kids are involved in that too, just to get the project out there. The greenery day is together. That's community service, the making in the classroom of the arrangements, and then the delivery. That honestly is the best day of the whole project because the kids are like, they're seeing the reaction from a lot of the guests. We don't get to be there for food bank distribution day, but for the shelters, we get to meet some people. We get to meet people that are involved in the process. And that's really like truly the best feeling to see your hard work pay off.
Absolutely. How does it feel to watch your students become the givers, like to see them take ownership of kindness?
It really is like one of my best days in the classroom, my best feeling, because for teachers, like that light bulb moment when a kid gets a topic is a huge feeling. But for us at the tail end, like in high school, more so I think than elementary, I don't know, maybe elementary feels this way. Just to see that like human, you are ready to be a good citizen and you get it. Like you get what being a good human and what your job is on this planet, right? Like you have a purpose, you're putting it to good, you're sharing free willy. Like, yes, I am making it an assignment, but at the end of the project, most of them, it clicks. The full, okay, yeah, that's why we're doing this. And this is the difference we're making. It's not just the one person getting it, it's their whole family gets to experience it. And so you see that multiplier figure, and we talk about it at the beginning of, yes, we're going to make 400, but it's more than that. It's the ripple effect. And now it's not just us too. We have neighboring schools in our area. And then the other cool thing is I hear from the kids that are returners, or I have 2 seniors that graduated last year that are coming back to help out on our FFA day at the elderly care facility. And that keeps happening. And so what I think I know is happening also is that kids that have experienced it once in my room are doing it to whatever level they can on their own as well. And so that makes me feel good too. That's what your whole...
That gives me a lump in my throat. Like just to think about that.
Right? Like that's the point.
Yeah, it's so much more like it's planting this seed. That's always been the hope and dream for the Growing Kindness movement, is that we can help plant seeds that then grow on their own, and then they send out more seeds. And to know that it's happening in students, especially students, you know, your kids' ages they're really getting ready to walk into the world on their own, and they're getting ready to be citizens of communities, and to know that they're walking away with this idea that there's something I can do to make a difference. It just is so beautiful.
And it doesn't have to be this big, complicated thing. Like I really try to like preach the message of start where you are, use what you can, because that's all it is. It's cans donated from recycling. It's greeneries that were chopped down anyways, and we're just repurposing it. And when you take a little bit of time and put some heart into it, what beautiful stuff comes out of it. And so if they can learn that now and proceed, that's my biggest goal.
I love this. I love every bit of this, Amy. Like it makes my heart so happy to see the ways that the impact's carrying out. And all it takes is one person taking the initiative to take the lead. And that's what you've done in your classroom. And it's a beautiful thing to think about how many students and then eventually how many generations get to be impacted by that.
Like if you think about that in the last 4 years, there's easily, especially between now all our local FFA programs that keep coming and doing, we're talking, there's probably even that ripple effect in the kids. There's probably a close to 3,000 of them now that have done this.
When you stop and
in
think
some
about
way,
it.
shape, or form. When you stop and think about it, I mean, imagine another 5 years from now, we're going to be in crazy numbers of people that have been exposed to this kind of love, is what it is, you know, and then where they take that in their adult life, that's all I could ever wish for.
I'm just like, okay, we're good. We get the whole podcast done.
Right? Yeah.
I mean, it's just I mean, it honestly makes me swallow a lump
It's
in my throat.
big. It's so small, but it's so big, like when you really think about it. And that's what I really want the kids to get to. I want it to click with them that like this thing that takes us 5-10 minutes one day in class, like it takes a lot to prep, don't get me wrong. But the day that we make the arrangement, it's really only 5-10 minutes. It's a simple one. But the exposure for them and the payoff to the person getting it, that's a memory for both of them. That's a core memory for both of them that hopefully makes a larger impact for everybody in the world.
Absolutely. Could not agree more. So, Amy, I would love to hear, like the question that I really want to ask is, have you seen certain students like really light up or transform through this process? Has there been any really standout stories that stay with you?
I have a student that graduated a couple years ago that connected with flowers in a different way than I've seen any other kid so far. Since her, there are a couple more following suit. So I don't know what I'm doing all of a sudden that's like making this magic happen. But for her, it was, so we do Growing Kindness. We go away for winter break and then we come back in January. When we came back in January, I showed pictures of that first delivery day because that year I didn't take the kids with me. I hadn't planned that part out yet. And so I was like, I know you guys really want to go. I'm so sorry we can't do it during school time, et cetera, whatever it was for drop off. And so I took pictures of the places I went and the people and the amount, like kind of seeing the en masse that we had done. And so when we got back in class in January, I showed them the pictures and kind of did a little debrief and like I made them write like a journal entry, kind of a reflection of the experience from start to finish and talk about what steps they were involved in and what kind of a difference it made for them and what kind of a difference they think it made in the community. Because some of them took it more serious than others. Like some just showed up on arrangement day and others really put in the effort to bring in the cans and do all the things. And so I was reading them a week or two later and kind of putting two and two together for what I was witnessing in my classroom all along that I just hadn't really keyed in on yet. And for one of my students, this was something that she connected to receiving help and aid from places like the food bank. Or for a lot of our kids in elementary times, they were gifted like the winter coats. And it was that secretive, but like in a community service way. And so for her, she'd already connected with flowers and really was getting into floral design and what can I do in this path. And then to have that experience, which was a core memory for her from her younger years, she wrote all about how good it made her feel to be able to give back at this point, that she thought it was still going to be years later when she was an adult and had a job and could make money. And here she was a 13, 14-year-old able to already give back in a different way. And she saw that as, oh, like, I don't have to use money to give back. I can use my talents. I can do this in other ways. And so I think a few other kids wrote similarly, but hers was so eloquent with her story that it made me tear up when I read it. And so we've had several conversations since then about how I wish she could share it to all my kids every year, just like people hear community service sometimes, and I think it just has a bad rap because we've used it in lots of different ways in our society. And so they think of it, yes, it's a positive, but for some people it is a negative. It's a punishment, or if you're receiving it, sometimes you're just not in the place where receiving it is a happy thing. And I try to say that when I'm teaching. Same thing with like, okay, we're doing this during the holiday time. Tons of organizations do things during the holiday time. How else can we use this later in the year to do similarly? Because that's when people really need it, when the holidays are over, right? And so I really like her story because it really pushes forward. You don't need anything. You just need you and your heart. And there's some way that you can make a difference in somebody else's life every day, really. And so I really liked how she connected those two things together. And for her full circle, it made her realize that it also didn't take much for the person giving her those things either. Like, it wasn't such a out of the way burden. She really thought at that stage that she was a burden. And so it's not a burden to give, it's not a burden to receive. It's really just all about love and spreading that kindness.
Amy, how absolutely empowering to give her that opportunity, and through that opportunity for her to come to this realization. And there's such a liberty in that, to kind of be freed from this feeling of guilt or not being enough, to be able to recognize, to accept freely and to be able to give freely. That's just absolutely empowering. I'm so thankful that there are teachers like you who are giving students these incredible experiences to help them step in more to who they are and step more into their communities and being engaged and connected with their communities. You really honestly have answered, I think, all of my other questions. I mean, this is so good. This is so good. Just like as it is, you're doing beautifully. This is the fun part. I'm like, I just get to mostly sit back and hear pure inspiration. Like, honestly, this podcast is like an IV of like motivation right now when I get to sit and hear these stories, because I walk out and I'm like, okay, yeah, the work we're doing matters, you know? And for you, I mean, the work that you are doing in the classroom matters so much. I think that in a season where it can feel like, I mean, as a former teacher, in a season where you're coming out of conferences and it just feels like there's so many expectations and so many pressures on what you have available to, you know, what you have available as resources to use in the classroom, and how you motivate the kids towards these bigger ideas and these bigger lessons. It's just really cool to see the way that you have brought this into your students and empowered them with it. Can you share a little bit more about how your kids get to be personally connected to this? I know you mentioned that some of your students, or is it all of your students, get to go on delivery day?
Just some of them. I have like 3 different floral design classes, and then our FFA club is involved too. So I just do little groups. So a group of about 10 to 15 will go to the elderly care facility. A group about the same will get to go to delivery drop-off day as well. So it's just whoever signs up for it first gets permission slips turned in. But they're excited too, so it's kind of a fight for it right now. Yeah, like, sorry, you guys, there's only 10 spots. Whoever gets them in first gets to go.
I love that. It's the exclusive opportunity to go help other people.
Yeah, it's huge, right?
I think that having high school students clamoring to get to have a chance to serve in their community is an absolute worthy goal to aspire to. So what about the other kids who don't get to have the opportunity for the golden ticket to be in that delivery or arrangement workshop with the seniors? What are the ways that they get to connect and kind of make this personal for them?
So when we do the arrangement day, we also use the Growing Kindness Movement tags. And so we'll attach them with a rubber band to the top of the can. And I tell them they have to write a personalized message on the tag. Some of them do more than others, but that's a way for them to practice like saying something in a cheerful way. I tell them it doesn't even have to be holiday related. It just could be something like, I hope you have a great day. Mount Vernon High School students made this with love and kindness. I tell kids they can write in a different language. We have a lot of Spanish and Ukrainian and Russian speakers in our community. And so we'll have kids write messages in those languages, which is really nice. Some of them get really cute and they'll doodle and draw on them. Even the high schoolers like to do that. I've had a couple of kids even bring in like stickers and make them super cute. So they're artsy. They like to be artsy. So this thing that takes 5-10 minutes, it can take the whole period if you want it to. It really can.
I love that. It can be as simple or as elaborate as you'd like. But what a beautiful way for kids to see that connection, that they get to take credit for the kindness that they're sharing, but also that the recipient of that arrangement knows that a real person cared about you, a real person made this. And how even more inspiring would that be to receive something that a student took the time and care to make for another. So that's so inspiring. All right. Amy, I hope that everyone listening today, if they are a Girl Scout leader, if they have a kids book club, if they are a homeschool co-op, if they are a classroom teacher, feels inspired to try spreading some holiday cheer by gathering some evergreens, grabbing some soup cans or whatever it may be, and getting kids involved with this beautiful, inspiring work of giving back in their communities. If people want to follow along, I know I sure will be over the next few weeks. I can't wait to see this unfold in your classroom with your students. What's the best place for us to find you and follow along with this?
We're posting on our FFA club page, so it's at Mount Vernon FFA on Instagram and Facebook. And then I post a little bit on my personal farm page, The Farmer's Daughter, as well.
Awesome. We'll link those in the show notes below. So if anybody wants to just grab it there, it will be there. Amy, this was absolutely inspiring to get to hear your story and the beautiful work that you're doing with your students in your classroom. Thank you for taking the time to be here today. As we close, there's one thing that I love to ask everyone. You highlighted so beautifully for us that we never know how lasting even one small act of kindness would be. What's a time that someone shared an act of kindness with you that you still carry in your heart today?
I was going through a real rough patch a couple years ago as a teacher. We have these cards called put-up cards that our school does at staff meetings, and it's just to write a nice, kind message to put somebody up. We've done it for students, we've done it for staff, and I got one literally like the day that I was like crying in my classroom, thought I was the worst teacher ever. It was from a teacher that I had when I was a student, and so to see in their words, from their perspective, how much of an impact I was actually making was very inspiring and very meaningful for me. Kind of a full circle moment from that teacher student to being a teacher alongside them. So that was very pick me up.
We never know how much a small act of kindness is going to lift somebody up and how long they'll carry it with them in their heart. Amy, thank you for being here today. It's truly been an honor. We can't wait to follow along and see all the ways you're spreading kindness in our community this holiday season. Thank you so much for listening to the Growing Kindness podcast. It means the world that you take the time to be here. Every time you show up, every time you listen in, community grows. If today's episode encouraged you, there are a few simple ways to keep growing kindness with us. First, you can join the team. When you become a Growing Kindness gardener, you link arms with like-minded, like-hearted people from all around the world who believe that small acts of kindness really do make a big difference. As a gardener, you'll receive access to resources, inspiration, and connection to help you grow and give flowers as acts of kindness in your corner of the world. It's free to join. Another way to get involved is to become a donor. This podcast is made possible by the generosity of our donors, kind-hearted people who believe, just like you, that stories of goodness are worth sharing. If you'd like to help us share more stories just like today's, visit growingkindnessproject.org/donate to make a gift and keep kindness blooming. We'd love to stay connected with you. You can sign up for our newsletter or find us on Instagram at Growing Kindness Project. We'd love to keep in touch and cheer you on as you grow kindness in your community. And finally, if this episode touched your heart, would you share it with a friend? It's one of the simplest ways to spread kindness today. I'm so grateful you're here. Until next time, keep growing kindness, one bloom at a time.